What is up, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls Postgame, presented to you by DraftKings.
DraftKings.
Make sure you use promo code CHGO when you download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and have all the fun with those stepped-up same-game parlays. Big Dave!
Matthew Peck.
W.
That's 3-0.
124-109 is the final. Bulls beat the Central Division rival Indiana Pacers to go to 3-2 on the season. First winning streak of the 22-23 Chicago Bulls season. What do you know? Love it.
What do you say?
Love it. We got a bunch of Bulls fans hanging out with us in the live YouTube chat and comments. Keep them coming. We'll get to as many of your comments as we can throughout tonight's postgame. See our guy Braggs is in the comments as well. What up, Braggs? Throw us some super chats if you feel so inclined. We're trying to go to Paris, y'all. Trying to go to Paris. Need some super chats.
Trying to be at.
Big Dave, so many different storylines to take away from tonight's game.
Yeah.
The most dominant offensive performance we've seen from the Bulls this season in that first half, put up 70, whatever, like 76 points, whatever it was. You knew the Pacers were going to make some kind of run to get back into it. The second unit responds with their defense after the Pacers had the Bulls just chasing their tails, and the Pacers had all kinds of open looks that they finally started knocking down. We talked in pregame about how the Pacers chuck a ton of threes. They chucked 41 threes tonight, which is almost exactly their season average thus far of 40.8. It was just imbalanced on the ones that they missed, and then the ones that they hit. The Bulls responded well enough to keep them at bay. What was your biggest takeaway from tonight's game?
Oh man, there was so many. Let me say this. At no point, what was great, Matt, was at no point in time was I worried about the Bulls losing this game. Even when the Pacers made their run, I wasn't. Not once, Matt. I wasn't worried because all the Pacers did was get hot from the three-point line. And as many threes as they rained, they were still losing. It was, as all those threes, you're still losing. And I'm like, well, they don't have their defensive lineup in the game. Well, Billy Donovan's going to bring the defense back in and things will even out. Soon as he brought those guys back in, everything evened out. We're right back to where it was. You knew the Pacers were going to start turning the ball over. You knew the shot clock violations were on the way, and all those things were going to happen. And that's what went down. Kudos to them for doing that because that's what they had done in those previous games. They've been down 20-plus before this season and came all the way back because guys like Buddy Hield get hot from three. But the difference is the Bulls really do have a great defensive team. So my main takeaway, though, Matt, was, again, that second unit came in and did just a great job for the team. The starting lineup kind of, started it, and then the second unit elevated it. And that was just an awesome thing to see, man. I'm sure we'll get into Dragic and everyone else, but them just as a unit, I really enjoyed watching how they played tonight.
Shout out to Hayes Watkins with our first super chat of the night saying, I'll take the win. Not to be negative, though. Why does this offense become so stagnant for long stretches? We saw that once in the third quarter and then again in the fourth quarter. Once the Bulls had sort of pushed the Pacers back a little bit, the Pacers made a second mini run there midway late into the fourth when I believe the Bulls went without a field goal for like 5 minutes. And we've seen that several times through their previous 4 games before tonight's action.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about how the Bulls offense just sort of the wheels fall off. We've talked about the second unit maybe not necessarily having enough offensive juice at times. We're now seeing more of Zach playing with the second unit as opposed to last season, DeMar playing with the second unit. And honestly, I like a lot about that second unit. It was the first unit that kind of sputtered out of the gate to start the second half tonight, Dave.
Very, very true. They didn't have it defensively. There were several possessions with that first unit, those guys in, where they just did not get out to the shooter and guys were just wide open. I'm talking about from the first half to the second half. There were guys just wide open for some wide open shots. There was one play, Buddy Hield in particular, in the second quarter that came out of a timeout, and Buddy Hield made a cut baseline, and nobody picked him up. Like, he was under the basket, wide open, and I'm pointing at it like Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, just sitting there pointing at it from my chair. Hey! And he was so wide open, he had time to say, oh, no, it's okay, and then he left and went back to the baseline and shot a three on DeMar DeRozan. Like, he had time. He had that much time to do that. And I was like, wow, okay, yeah, that's not good, But outside of that, though, the second if the first unit isn't hitting their buckets, it's just becoming more glaring for them, with those defensive lapses and things like that. But kudos to them because they picked it up, because they definitely were scoring for sure. They definitely putting the ball into the bucket. Guys like Zach LaVine, guys like Ayo, and of course my man Patrick Williams finally, had a good game, had a solid game tonight. And I mean, what 6 people in double figures, I think, for that Bulls team.
With 5. Ayo with those 2 late buckets, it made it 6 Bulls in double figures.
Yeah, I believe the starting 5 were all in double figures.
Starting 5, and then Dragic with 13 off the bench.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And Drummond had 8, so yeah, 8
and Javonte had 8. Like it was well balanced offensively tonight, but there still were those droughts. But my bigger problem was the Bulls' lackadaisical defense out of the gate to start the second half. That kind of leads, shout out Eli with the super chat there. What is that symbol? I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
But it's like sometimes I think that like the sloppy offense spawns from the Bulls pulling the ball out of their own basket because they're not playing focused and locked in defense. Our guy Mark King in the comments saying Pat's defense was very bad in the third quarter. Okay, I think yes, Pat was
good in the first.
Bad rotations, not doing a good enough job fighting through screens. But the Bulls defense in total for the first part of that third quarter was a mess.
Yeah.
Their rotations were off. The Pacers finally started moving the ball a little bit better than they did in the first half. And they started getting shooters open, and they started knocking down those shots. And then to me, it's like this Bulls team can be guilty of when they're bringing the ball up, sort of like lazy half-paced after getting scored on. The offense loses a little bit of mustard, just like their defense is guilty of losing mustard. And then all of a sudden, you're getting bad looks late in shot clocks. You're turning the ball over. The Bulls offense, part of the reason why they poured in 70+ in the first half, and it was clean. I think they had like 3 turnovers in the first half. They ended the game with nearly 20. Like,
they did.
If you want to answer to the question of where do these Bulls offensive droughts come from, turnovers, freaking turnovers.
Yeah. When you can't handle the basketball, it's going to be like that for this team. And it was weird because the starting lineup, I don't think really is like that. Like, I'm not used to seeing them like that. I'm not saying they're great defensively, but those lapses were very, very glaring when that was happening. But honestly, I'm not tripping on any of that because they beat the piss out of the Pacers, dude. They whooped their ass. Like, I'm not tripping on none of that, bro. Like seriously, everybody looked really good. It was so much fun to watch this game and to sit there and be like, okay, I don't think the Bulls are going to lose at all. With everything I'm sitting here saying about their defense, about the turnovers, about the things that they didn't do well, at no point in time did I feel like this game was in jeopardy at all. I just like, they're going to win this game, dude. You can just feel this and smell this. And so I give them kudos for that, man, because for me, it was the most fun game so far of the season. It was the first time I looked at them like, okay, this is the Chicago Bulls. This is the complete team I've been talking about. These are the guys we thought we were going to see in the preseason and coming in to start the season and continuing on against like Washington when they had those lapses and stuff like that. This is the team I thought I was going to see. This is how you whoop on those bum squads doing stuff like this. Like that, I enjoyed. They went about 24, I think, on them, man. And again, kudos to the Pacers for coming back. But they was whooping their ass, and they ended up with that victory at the end, which is all I give a damn about, is them doing that and moving on to that next.
And like you said, I mean, it was the complete package tonight. There were those offensive lulls, but collectively, that was a team offense. I mean, I took note of it when I saw that DeMar was heading to the free throw line late in the second quarter, and at that point, he had only taken 2 shots.
Yeah.
And the Bulls had 54 points like halfway through the second quarter. And they were up 20-something.
Yeah.
And DeMar had taken 2 shots.
2.
If that offensive crutch that this team is so used to using isn't even needed, and you're putting up that many points and you're up by that much, I mean, and kudos to DeMar for seeing a night like tonight to say, you know what, let's get everybody else their touches first. Let's get everybody else involved first. And then what happened? The Bulls are kind of in trouble a little bit in the second half at certain points. DeMar picks and chooses his possessions to be like, all right, give me the rock. I'll get us a bucket.
Right.
Timely buckets from DeMar. 17 points. Only took 14 shots. Not a big DeMar night, but it's because he said, hey, teammates, y'all take this one.
Y'all got this. And the main teammate who got that was Zach LaVine. He was the one that took it over for them. Zach had 8 free throws in the first half. Like, come on, dude. I was ecstatic Like I was like, yes, he's getting to the line. And you saw what it did because he wasn't shooting super well in the first half, but he was getting to the free throw line. But you saw what it did because you looked up and you're like, well, he's still in double figures right now early because he's getting to the line. What does that do for a guy who's a scorer? That lets me know, okay, bet I can still do this. I got time to get my buckets because my points is looking good, and I'm watching the ball go through the net at the free throw line. What did he do when he come out in the second half? Buckets, 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 three-pointer, 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 catch and shoot LaVine. It was Zachary Hackery for all y'all splackhackeries. That's what it was. It was amazing. It was fun. It was fun, Matt, watching Zach do that. And again, he was doing that Zach LaVine stuff where I saw certain plays where I'm watching him think a little bit too much. And then he would have a 24-second violation. He'd think a little bit too much, and then he would turn the ball over, or he wouldn't make the right cut or the right play. But I was okay with that because I'm looking down. I'm like, okay, here comes the next play. He goes up. He hits a three. 6 threes. He was 6 of 8 from the 3-point line, dog. On fire. And also, I will say this, and I'm not being negative when I say this, I'm just telling you because it was true. I've never seen Zach get blocked that many times in a game before. I've never seen that before. And I think that has to do with the knee and him, getting reacclimated and stuff like that. I don't expect that to continue. But I was like, hey, he's getting blocked a lot. Like, I don't like that. But again, Miles Turner blocked shots and stuff. But still, I thought he was getting blocked a lot.
Thank you for teeing me up. I know you don't like to be overly negative. I'll take it from here. But before I give further thoughts on that, shout out to JF_Faye on Twitter. This popped up in my Twitter feed. Okay. Zach, first player in Bulls history to have at least 6 made threes and 10 made free throws.
Wow.
In one game.
Seriously?
Franchise history.
Wow.
28 points on 13 field goal attempts. And look, 6 of 8 from behind the 3-point line and 10 of 12 from the free throw line. That is like Zach LaVine deliciousness, right? He is a lethal 3-point shooter, and he can attack the basket and get to the free throw line. That is his offensive game.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it. At the rim, when he wasn't drawing the fouls, Zach was 0 of 5 inside the 3-point line tonight. Because he was getting blocked. He was getting blocked. And there's a little worried part of my brain still that's like, yo, what's up with that knee? What's up with that knee? Zach does not look like full-on attackery so far in these games that he's played. And I'll agree. Holding my breath a little bit because tonight Zach did everything they needed him to do to win that game and win it fairly comfortably. But when I see Zach trying to get to the basket in these games, something's missing. And yes, Miles Turner is a heck of a shot blocking player. And there were others who were chipping in with the block shots for the Pacers tonight.
For sure. Yeah.
Turner had 4, but Smith had 2. Neesmith had 2. I mean, like 4 of their bench players had block. I mean, like it was a block party for the Pacers tonight. They are very good at doing that, but usually Zach is flying past and above those people, throwing down dunks, not getting stuffed at the rim.
Yeah, and again, it's 5 games into the season. I think that's why I'm not concerned about it. Because I'm like, if he's doing that, Matt, and I'm looking at his line and he's 28, 6, and 5. Okay, take your time getting better. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're still gonna provide me with something, because that's the great thing about Zach LaVine. It's just not all about his explosiveness to the rim. That dude can shoot the basketball. Now he has also learned how to get to the free throw line. So that's just going to help his game while he's waiting to get that explosiveness back and get more comfortable with that. So remember, he sat out the first 2 games of the season. This is 3rd game. So yeah, no explosiveness is not going to be there. It's not going to be on point yet. But I would be more concerned if it was stopping him from having these kind of numbers. But it hasn't. Those numbers look nice to me. Pretty right to me, Matt. Like, damn, those look good.
Zach in the comments agreeing with you, saying it's the explosiveness that's missing. Ryan saying, do you think there's not the same height on Zach's jumper? I mean, Zach's jumper looked wet to me tonight. 6 of 8 from downtown. Like what? How do you see 6 of 8 from downtown and watch the way he was smooth as ever with those threes and think there's something wrong with his shot? I don't think there's a damn thing wrong with his shot. I think there's something wrong with that explosiveness.
The explosiveness, yes, correct.
Exiled Punk saying Zach still doesn't seem to be in shape with that explosiveness. It'll come along in time. Bless all of you, your hearts and your optimism and positivity. That is just
but that's
Zach
how it works.
getting back into form. The Zach hater Eco Bean is here saying, but Zach, 5 turnovers though. Yeah, you're gonna have that kind of stuff.
Sound like Zach
every once in a while.
Yeah, it sounds like a Zach game to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like before, that would be a problem because we were dependent on it.
Right.
We had to have it, but now it's not anymore.
Also, like one of those 5 turnovers was him throwing almost an even more ridiculous lob to Javonte.
Yeah.
And Javonte just couldn't throw it down. Like
seriously,
you want to knock Zach for that turnover? Like,
yeah,
I won't. I'll knock Zach for the turnovers where he dribbles the ball off his foot.
Right.
Or if you want to, call him on a turnover for driving to the rim and getting stuff because his explosiveness isn't quite back yet. Okay, fine.
Sure, fine.
Like you just said, on a night when he's got 28, 6, and 5 on the most efficient 6 of 8 from downtown, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, you want to nitpick the turnovers? Like, okay.
No, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. But I will. Joey, bring back up. There was a super chat from Debo the Black Panther. You keep putting it up there, and we haven't been able to read it yet. So I just want to give that some attention because it hasn't happened yet. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, I was going to save it for the other half of the ad break, but we can do it now. Let's dive in.
Oh, okay. Matt had a plan, and I just completely shitted on it. I apologize, man. That is my fault.
We'll read it, and then we'll discuss after the ad break. Debo, the Black Panther, with a big old super chat. Thanks, Debo, saying the Bulls looking good so far, except that Cavs loss. Zach back on the attack. Love it. Vooch, a calming presence. Oh, isn't he? Isn't he just? Io leading the way. DeMar being DeMar. Dragic and Drummond are heaven sent. Good win. That's a great super chat, Debo. I believe our guy AK also had one praising the glory of Dragic. Yeah, there you go. Bulls win. Dragic, aka Ginobili. What a pickup. We will do there it is. There's the graphic that Dave was asking for.
Yes. Thank you,
Magic.
Joey. Oh, ask Joey and ye shall receive. Oh, I love it. This is brilliant. This is Joey, well done.
Tweet that from our Bulls, CHGO Bulls Twitter account immediately.
Now, Joey. Put that out there now. Put it in the Louvre. I love it, man.
Love it. Yes, plenty of things to discuss with the Drummond and Dragic beauty that we saw once again tonight. We will do that coming up next. While we were reading a couple of ads for you guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel because we got some hella fun products for you.
Yeah, we do.
But you can multitask. While we tell you about these cool products, hit that like button.
Do that.
And because our first ad read is DraftKings, Joey, the DraftKings king of the game, is that man who had 28, 6, and 5 tonight. Zach LaVine in his third game back. Whew, beautiful. Just a beautiful game from Zachary Attackery. Your DraftKings king of the night. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, obviously, because you just watched a Bulls victory.
You did.
So tip off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA and our official sports betting partner at CHGO. New customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet. You get $200 in free bets if your team wins. You could have just put a $5 bet on the Bulls beating up the Pacers tonight, and you would have gotten $200 in free bets from DraftKings.
Easy money.
Check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a stepped up same game parlay today. With payouts bigger than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where I go to bet on the NBA. Once again, download that DraftKings Sportsbook app now using promo code CHGO. Make any $5 bet on an NBA money line this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code CHGO. Big Dave, I will tell you that I hit my stepped up same game parlay tonight on Bulls Pacers.
Proud of you.
And it involved Andre Drummond grabbing all the damn rebounds. I loved it.
Oh, Drum Magic. You know, he's grabbing all the rebounds.
I can't do it.
I can go there. I'm not going to give it to y'all right now. I ain't going to give it to y'all right now. But I will give you this. Matt, what time is it?
Game time.
See, that's why I asked you.
I'm going to give you the Gottlieb version because I'm sick.
Yeah. No, that's why I asked you, because I wanted to know what was going to come next. I didn't know if you was going to tough it and give it, or if you're going to smooth it out.
Dude, I was so good. I didn't utter a word sitting on that game watching my couch just now. Rested the vocal cords.
Yes.
And then the Javante alley-oop happened, and I jumped off my couch and screamed, and then immediately grabbed my throat and was like, oh, God damn it, Matt, you idiot.
1,000 knives in my throat. God damn. Oh, man. But don't you guys want to experience something like that live? Wouldn't it have been cool to have been at the game and seen that live and feel all that energy? Well, guess what? All you got to do is use the Game Time app, and you can be there live because you can get in those seats that you never thought you could do. The 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at the concert. All of this is possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on seats that you thought you could never afford. You won't find a better deal, y'all, this season on Chicago Bulls tickets, because just like CHGO, it's created by the fans for the fans. And Game Time guarantees the lowest price, period. So if you love CHGO, then guess what? You'll love Game Time. And the best way to support us is to do two things. One, make sure you hit that like button. Please go ahead and click that. I know you're doing it. I'll give you 2 seconds. Thank you. Appreciate you doing that. The next thing you do is you buy your tickets through the link in the description. That's what you do, y'all. And join over the 15 million people who have downloaded that Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events. Because young Joey, what time is it?
Game time. Who?
There it is.
Oh.
He's always there for you. He's
right there for you. That's all I need.
Yeah. So jumping back from our pre-ad break super chat from Debo and also from AK, let's talk about Goran Dragic, Dave, and his partner in crime, Andre Drummond.
Yeah. Wow.
Some of those passes that Dragic was throwing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The one that he tried to throw up to Derrick Jones Jr. too, where he was just like dribbling left around the screen and then seriously just threw it over his head, over his shoulder without looking. That one didn't convert, but Jones drew a foul on it. But
yeah,
the chemistry that Drummond and Dragic built in maybe a month playing together in Brooklyn last season, if that really, is incredible. Drummond, when he's not being crazy, I'm going to put the ball on the floor from behind the 3-point line and try to get to the rack, Drummond, which he did once tonight. Shame on you. Go run a lap. When he is just crashing the boards and rolling to the rim, looking for Dragic lobs, and Dragic is just being that calm, poised vet point guard who, while his knees are what they used to be, he can still break down defenses and then just throw some abs. The one pass he threw from underneath the basket whipped around a defender to Caruso, who actually then hit the three. I mean, some of these Dragic passes are freaking magic, Dave.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. It was his game tonight. He balled out for the Chicago Bulls, man. And I mean, it was just fun to watch. Like, and again, it makes me miss Lonzo because I'm like, this is what I like while Lonzo is out there. But Dragic, man, because you see how easy it is for the team when they just like, well, I'm gonna set up in the spot and he's gonna find me. Like, and that's what's gonna happen. And then on top of that, he's hitting his threes. You know what I mean? Like he's doing that on top of these things. No, he was great. When they went on that run, the first thing I said was, oh, well, Billy needs to get the bench back in the game. And then he brought everybody in but Dragic. And I was like, wait, hold on. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing, Billy? What are you doing? And then he brought him in like a couple plays. I was like, okay, now let's play basketball. And then the game was over after that. Dragic did it all, Matt. He really, truly did it all for the Bulls. He, like you said, stabilizing is what he is. I like to call him just for men. He was stabilizing out there with Drummond, man, who I now call Two-Face. he was out there stabilizing with these guys, man. And it was great to see, and just the ease that he brought to the offense. And also him not getting lost and flustered on defense was impressive to me. It wasn't like he was making defensive stops. I'm just like, but no, he was never out of position. He was always in front of the man. Like he was just doing the little stuff I asked Kobe White to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, Kobe, that. Like that's what I mean. Like, just be in front of your guy and do that, and we'll be okay. And I love the way Billy utilized his minutes, because I'm sure he didn't want to bring him back early, and that why they didn't want to go on that run, because he didn't want to bring him back so early. But you needed him back in the game because he was hot, and that's just what it is. But yeah, man, I can't say enough about him and how he played. He did an excellent job tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think tonight was yet another game thus far through these 5 where those Bulls fans who spent summer bitching and moaning on Twitter about how Drummond and Dragic was essentially a net nothing offseason.
I remember.
And look, I wasn't over the moon excited about those guys, but I was like, well, they're quality vets who will play minutes in Billy's rotation. Yeah. That's not nothing.
And move the trash to the back.
Underwhelming, but fine. Especially, asterisk, is Dragic healthy enough to play and healthy enough to play real minutes? And Drummond cool with playing a reserve role when he's been basically a starter most of his career. With those two, little extra piece of criteria, I was like, they can help this team. Without a doubt, they can help this team. Yeah. Those Bulls fans who were yelling about these additions in the offseason being trash, being nothing, being junk, I hope they're, sitting down, getting ready to write those handwritten apologies to Dragic and Drummond and the Bulls front office, because these guys are helping the Bulls win games. Unquestionably.
Yeah. Unquestionably, Matt. I tweeted that out afterwards. I was like, some of y'all owe Dragic an apology. Like, some of y'all really do owe that young man an apology, man. Because you're right. I saw the same things. I was getting the same tweets. People were DMing me all this stuff, saying, what are they doing? What is this? Oh, he's not going to do anything. I'm like, quit staring at his hair. All right? Stop doing that. Just stop staring at his hair.
Though. Speaking of Jester, man, it's so gray, though, Dave.
Look, but stop looking at it, because it's making you think the gray has trickled down to his knees and trickled down to his hands and is stopping him from being a good basketball player. That's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the case. If you go back and watch any highlight from either Dragic or Drummond last season, a majority of them are together. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're going to see. A majority of their plays are together, man. Watching those guys run that 2-man game. I mean, Matt, you just had the perfect nickname. It's what you did. It's Drew Magic. That's what it is. And it's fun to watch. And, man, what about that play, Matt, when Dragic got the ball baseline with the clock running down and it got to about 1 second, and I was like, shoot the ball, and he gave an alley-oop to Drummond, who powered it down with one hand with like 1/10 of a second left. It was unbelievable. I was like, that is incredible.
That Drummond oop was like MJ in the final seconds of Space Jam. Like, hey, like, what? How did you do that?
It was so impressive, man. I was blown away by that. And I don't know how everybody can't just see that and be like, you know what? He's down good. But Matt's right. Some of y'all owe some apologies out here. Somebody told me already on Twitter, like, it's only 5 games, man. I don't know what you're talking about. The Raptor said he was unplayable. You'll see. And I'm like, all right, cool. All right, sure.
Harbinator in the comments saying Dragic and Drummond look to be great stabilizers for this team. They really calm the team down. Yeah. Morris saying Drummond's block tonight was a low-key quality Drummond contribution as opposed to Urban Magic Drummond moments, man. When he thinks he's Magic Johnson, it is hilarious and then awful. The hilarious part is short-lived, and then the awful part, you're like, oh, my God.
Didn't you want him to take those threes? Didn't you want him to shoot those threes, man? Because they were just so damn wide open and within the flow.
I yelled at him on one of them, the one where he just, like, slung it to Caruso and gave Caruso a shot clock grenade. It was like, dude, okay, Caruso did knock down a 3 or 2 tonight, but, like, Drummond was more open, and we've seen Drummond hit a 3, so freaking shoot it, man.
Shoot that. Just shoot it, because his next decision is to do what Matt does not want him to do, and that's put the ball on the floor and go to the bucket. No, shoot the 3, man. It was there, wide open. Shoot it. Keep the floor balance. I don't care if you're throwing it to the third row. Keep the floor balance. Shoot the ball, man. Please.
Charlie in the comments saying Drummond has been here 5 games and he's been better than Thompson was last year and Bradley by a massive margin. Yeah, I think I saw our guy Ricky O'Donnell have a hilarious tweet about that after one of Drummond's like good plays tonight, where he's like, man, nobody makes you look better than the guy you replaced who was awful, because we tried to think that Tristan Thompson as a mid to late season pickup was going to be quality depth for the Bulls, and probably just because we wanted to believe that the team was getting better on its way to the playoffs. It's a disaster. Thompson was more bad than good by a lot, and everybody was like, oh, Drummond, it's just like, it's another Thompson, it's another Brad. No, dude, Andre Drummond at the peak of his Pistons days was a goddamn all-star. Putting up 20 and 20 a night.
First game I ever watched with you guys was the beginning of the CHGO era. Tristan Thompson's first game with the Bulls.
Yeah.
Big Dave was very excited.
Was very excited. Very excited.
Shades of Rodman.
All I wanted. Okay, I ain't say all that shit. But I was very excited about getting him, man, because I was like, finally, we got the goon that I wanted. We got a big man here. Cool. He knows how to win. All this other stuff. I was ready for all that, man. Nope. He said, nope. Not going to happen for him, man. I was like, well, not going to work. Let's get out of here and find something else. And yeah, I appreciate them trying to go for it. And I'll always honor them for trying to do that shit.
Indeed.
One thing,
moving on. Go ahead, Joey.
Because I see this comment from 37 Cycles that I like. Indy's Jalen Smith, absolute stud. He's going to be a fantastic player.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting segue here. Joey says, this is like an example that can make you feel optimistic about Patrick Williams, because Jalen Smith was a high lottery pick that was so unplayable in Phoenix that they moved off of him quickly. Mm-hmm. They're in the same draft. Yeah. And you see, it's too early to write some of these guys off. He looked like he could have an impact. Yeah. Pat looked good tonight. Thank you.
He did. Joey, first of all, though.
So you're saying we need to trade Pat and then he'll get good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thanks, Joey. But Joey, also, you cannot nickname yourself. Your nicknames have to be bestowed upon you. You can't toss them out.
Also, get your own damn nickname. I'm Segway Pat. That is the only thing I bring to this here show, Joey, is segueing from one topic to another, or segueing from ads back to topics. How dare you step on those toes?
Oh, man.
How dare you step on these toes?
Oh, don't step on the toes, the Burke-free toes.
Hey, shout out to my man Josh on Twitter, who, as that Bulls lead was dwindling in the second half, was like, dude, we need more Burke vibes. And I was barefoot sitting the game watching over. Yeah. I was like, you know what? You're right. I walked over, got my Burks from the front hallway, put them on, sat back down, and the Bulls got back in control of the game.
Oh, well, speaking of segues, Matt, you know who's waiting in the wings.
I love, speaking of segues, it's so meta. I love it. It's Will the Go Gottlieb, everybody.
I saw, when I first logged on, I was like backstage or whatever, and I saw Joey's on. I was like, Joey, are you taking my job? What's going on here?
Already.
I've never seen Joey on camera before. It's really
he had to come on. He came on, Will. He gave himself a nickname and everything. Address
him by his official name. It's Segway Joey now.
Segway Joey. Excuse me. Segway Joseph. Excuse me.
Joseph. Oh, relax. You did it to yourself, Joey.
Follow Will_Gottlieb on Twitter if you aren't already, to not only get those great Bulls insights while he's reporting from these games, but of course, the celebratory cat dancing videos when the Bulls win, as they did tonight. Yeah, just like that. Balanced offensive night, other than those couple of scoring droughts in the second half. Will all 5 starters in double figures, 6 total players in double figures. Derrick Jones Jr. and Javonte each chipping in 8. What was your biggest takeaway from a fairly comfortable Bulls win tonight?
Yeah, I think it's just like the whole of it, like you're saying. I mean, so many guys looked really good. I think DeRozan barely started scoring until the second half. Right. Zach came out firing, hit a couple of threes. I was just talking with Darnell. I don't think Zach played all that well, but the numbers were there. He was hitting his threes. He got to the line. He still doesn't look totally right to me. Vooch had a hot start. First play of the game was for Patrick, which didn't go so well, but then after that he hit a couple of shots. So just overall balanced offensive workload, and I think that's kind of what you're hoping for. But I think really bearing the lead here, Goran Dragic is the man. I mean, he was awesome. Yeah.
I think you and I were the ones saying that this bench can be a top 3 bench in the league if they want it, if everything kind of goes right. And I think
I don't
this is kind of
remember saying that, but I'll totally take credit for saying that.
Oh, we said it together. I know I said it, and
Great.
you agreed with me. So
fantastic.
You don't have to ride with me. I can ride alone.
I'll take it.
I can ride alone, Will. Trust me, I can ride alone.
I'm with you.
but I definitely said it that this could be a top 3 bench in the league. But I think this is what I meant when I sit here and watch it. Just the depth that they have. They didn't even really need Derrick Jones Jr. Tonight, but just you had a guy like that waiting in the wings. Just talk about what you saw from that bench, because they're the ones that kind of took it to a next level once they came into the game at the end of the first half and the second half.
Mark, you silly dude. Yeah, I mean, like that bench unit, I think came out and really, I mean, like the Bulls were up, right? Like it wasn't like they were down 15 and then all of a sudden the bench came in and they were up 15. But they just put the pressure on you. They play so fast and really like just it throws the defense off. And I know the Bulls, like the starting group is trying to play a little bit faster, but just naturally, I mean, they're like more of a methodical team when you have DeMar DeRozan and Vooch in there, and they are trying to get up and down a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, I just like overheard Dragic talking in the hallway about how he was tired because of how fast they were playing. Like they were just flying up and down the floor. And yeah, like Javonte Green's making athletic plays at the rim, getting out in transition. I think they fill lanes really well. Like Billy's talked a lot about just like the spacing and not having like 2 guys run up the middle that just like allows for driving lanes. And then you collapse the defense and then somebody helps and you kick it out and you spray it out and then there's ball movement. And it's like all those things that the Bulls really need in order to basically circumvent the fact that they don't shoot threes. It's just like it totally clicks with that group because of how fast they play. And I think the one game where I was freaked out by it was I think it was the game that they got either destroyed by the Cavs or they went down. Yeah, it must have been the Cavs game. But that's because they did not play Zach or DeMar with that group. And since then, they've put one of Zach or DeMar with that group for the most part. And I think that really helps like stabilize it in a way where like, okay, yes, the goal is to fly up and down and get transition points. But if you're taking the ball out and you have to walk it up or the defense cuts off the initial action, then you've got a 25 point per game guy who can just like reset things a little bit, organize, and then like get you a bucket if you need it. So I just think the balance of those groups is really, really good. And yeah, I mean, specifically Dragic just like spearheading this whole thing. Billy Donovan just like talked about him like he's Chris Paul in terms of his, ability to read the game and just like the way he manipulates, pick and roll, which obviously is like a hyperbole, but yeah, he's a master pick and roll guy, and the Bulls haven't had that. I think that's part of the reason why I was interested in the idea of Pat coming off the bench, because I think having somebody like that who can sort of organize and help Patrick get to his spots and create plays for Patrick, I think could go really far for him. So Dragic has been awesome. Can't wait to write about it. He's the man.
You hear that? You hear that, Matt? Like what? Chris Paul, Matt. Like Chris Paul. You hear that?
Yeah,
Matt?
no. I heard that and then very quickly tuned that part out.
We've gotten a lot of hyperbolic statements today when Andre Drummond said that he was the greatest rebounder of the last century.
Greatest rebounder of all time.
Which is actually true statistically speaking, but
statistically true.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
I like how he just said, the last century. Did he mean just the 2000s or like going back to 1922? Because it's like
I think he meant
pretty
just
sure
the 2000s
Wilt also played after 1922.
Yeah, they just like weren't tracking rebounds past like I think the 1970s is when they started tracking rebounds. So I think he meant like of the last 22 years, but
yeah,
either way, it's just hilarious and still not wrong.
That their entire second unit is a NBA starting five. Yeah,
they've got multiple all-stars, especially when Zach is out there. They got 2 all-stars out of Drummond, 2 out of Zach, and 1 out of Dragic. So, I mean, that's just a recipe for success.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of hype around Dragic's game tonight, and rightfully so. I mean, he pulled them out of a few different binds tonight, on top of making insane highlight reel passes, and went 3 of 3 from behind the 3-point line. But as far as Bulls bench guards go, kind of another quiet night for Kobe. He did knock down 2 of 6. I'm okay with that in his short minutes. You just got to have Kobe shoot when he's open. But can you talk a little bit about what you saw from Alex Caruso tonight? Kudos to him. He's not a shooter. He did knock down 2 threes as well tonight, but there were 3 or 4 different defensive possessions where I watched Alex Caruso play defense for 25 seconds and said, my God, give this man Defensive Player of the Year right freaking now.
He's honestly, like, you watch him. I mean, I've watched every single Bulls game since they've gotten him, right? And he still finds a way to do something that's just like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, multiple times per game. It's insane. The play where he like dove on the ground, came back to contest the pass, and then stripped whoever it was in the post. Like, are you kidding me? And then even like simple stuff. There was a play where he just cut off Haliburton on a drive on the far right side from where I was sitting. And he just like stuffed every single attempt of Haliburton to break down the defense and get into the paint, forced up a shot that ended up in a shot clock violation. It's just like, I mean, he's just so good. And I know people don't take him for granted. And I know like he's kind of a meme in the sense that like people love him because he's good, but like he's actually so freaking good. And I hope people actually appreciate how good he is, because if you watch that guy literally once or twice per game, he will just amaze you with something that you thought you knew. Okay, this is just great defense, but he's like doing it on 2 levels higher than that.
Well, another thing that was great to see was when the run occurred by Indiana, how the Bulls didn't fold. They looked like the team that's a good team. They did what good teams do. When bad teams go on those kind of runs, you make a quick adjustment, you clamp them down, you score a couple buckets, you get an and one, and the game is over. Last year we talked about it, how the Bulls, when a couple things would happen, they would just kind of fold and it was over and they would pack it in. How good does it feel though for you to see the Bulls doing things like this, even them still not being fully whole yet, but it feels like mentally they're there when it comes to beating up those bum teams like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy trend. I was just thinking about this too, where in the first game of the season, the Miami Heat shot 6 of 8 on threes in the first quarter of the game. In the second game, I need to go back and look at the numbers, so you can disregard that one. But the third game was the Cavs game. They shot 5 of 6 in the first quarter on threes. Celtics shot 8 of 9 in the first quarter on threes. And then the Pacers come down and shoot 7 of 9 during the third quarter. And it's like, how is this happening? I mean, these are just like absurdly high shooting volume numbers that like obviously you can't sustain. But when they come all in bunches like that can wipe you out. And it's credit to the Bulls for coming back in that game against the Celtics and then ultimately, winning it. But this was an example of they had the lead and this sort of barrage came down and they withstood it. We're talking to Billy about it a little bit post game. And like, I agree with him. I think for the most part, like there were some open threes for sure. The rotations were like not always perfect, but I thought they were pretty good. And the Pacers were just like making all of their shots. And sometimes that's just kind of how it goes. I mean, they shot 40% on 41 threes today. They made 16 of them. So, I mean, they're just making a lot of threes, but those things do tend to normalize and stabilize throughout the course of a game and a season. But you just you got to withstand. And I think at a certain point, they started getting stops. They started being able to, now that they're not taking the ball out of the basket, they're able to get out and run a little bit more. And that gets them back into like their identity, especially with that second unit. So it is like one of those things where both sides of the ball influence it, but just kind of a crazy trend that we're seeing. And, 1 game, 2 games, okay, fine. That's like maybe a little bit fluky, but it's like 4 out of 5 games. That's like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Will, before we let you go, thoughts on Zach's game tonight? We awarded him our DraftKings King of the Game for obvious reasons. 28 points on a very efficient 6 of 13, 6 of 8 from downtown, 10 of 12 at the free throw line, adding 6 boards and 5 assists. Dave and I discussed this before you hopped on. His 3-point shot was smooth tonight, smooth as it's always been, and he was attacking the basket and getting to the line. But on those attacks to the basket where he did not draw the foul, he was 0 of 5 inside the 3-point line tonight, and we were kind of, just cautiously talking about how it looks like maybe Zach still doesn't quite have all of Zach's normal leg under him when he's attacking the basket. Did you see the same thing?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, his performance stands out just due to the box score, but I mean, he had what really felt like old Zach tunnel vision tonight, where it wasn't necessarily that he was like trying to go score on step back twos or whatever. Like he was going to the basket and he got there. He got to the free throw line for 12 attempts, but 5 turnovers. There were a couple of shots where he just like tried to draw a foul and couldn't for whatever reason. I mean, they've got like 3 incredible shot blockers down there, and Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, and Miles Turner. But yeah, I thought he forced it a little bit. I talked to him maybe the other day about just like the development of his playmaking, especially in this new sort of more read and react heavy offense. And he was like, yeah, I'm just trying to like let the game come to me a little bit more. I'm trying to pick my spots better. But there are certain times where I just kind of put my head down and try to go to the basket and draw a foul. I think that's kind of what you saw a little bit here. We both had the same reaction when he shot that 3 in the corner and made it, but thought he got fouled and he was really angry. Like he was just kind of pressing, it felt like. And like I said, it kind of the box score stats kind of cover that. But he definitely does not look 100% or really even close to it, which, to be fair, is a little bit scary if he's putting up 28 points or whatever it was and not looking his best. So he's going to have games where the 3 is not falling, and he'll have games where it is. But luckily for him, I mean, he's just so versatile and dangerous at so many different levels, where he can get to the basket, he can get to the free throw line, he can get you in the mid range, he can step back and shoot threes. He can come off like pin downs and play off the ball. He's just such a dangerous player that he'll find a way to score. But at some point, I would like to see him just get fully healthy, and he's definitely not there yet, in my opinion.
Well, Will, we appreciate you popping into post game as always. Make sure you're reading Will's thoughts on tonight's Bulls win on our website, allchgo.com. And Will, tonight it was game 5 of 82. You, me, and Mark all hit mind melds tonight. You know, I'm mind melding with this one over here all the time, but you and I had a tweet about Zach's angry corner 3 simultaneously, and Mark and I had a tweet about Drummond's dumbass dribbling simultaneously. So you can fight it as much as you want, but it only took 5 games. We're right here, baby.
We're right here. Yeah, the Zach thing was so weird because he, like, I don't know if the TV like camera panned to it, but like he obviously was pissed like right in the moment where, you know, the ref said that they just like high-fived, which is not a foul. But then he like went back to the bench and he was like yelling, and Billy like kind of had to grab him, and he just like threw his hands up and he like went to the bench. He was like really pissed.
Indeed. All right, Will, thanks for stopping by. We will talk to you tomorrow. Will_Gottlieb is the Twitter handle. Read all of his Bulls thoughts and columns, allchgo.com. Will, have a pleasant evening.
Peace.
Typey. All right, y'all. We've still got a little bit of time left here on post game. So before we wrap up, we've been talking about the Bulls' quality guard play off the bench. We still got to talk about the game Io had, which was like understated but massive, especially down the stretch. We will do that coming up next. And while we're reading these ads, if you missed it the first time around, hit that thumbs up button. You know you want to. It's sitting right there, just right under there. Hit it. Today's episode brought to you guys by our wonderful friends at FOCO. Chicago, you've already got the best coverage for your favorite team, so get fitted out in the best sports gear around. FOCO has you covered from Soldier Field to the Madhouse, from the north side to the south side, with hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. Get decked out like DeMar. Apparel from the leaders in sports merch and collectibles. FOCO, looking for the perfect gift for the football fan in your life? FOCO's got you covered with hoodies to fight that Lake Michigan breeze. Maybe you're going to come hang out with us at our next CHGO Bears tailgate, not this Sunday, but the following week, the Bears-Dolphins game, November 6th, I believe. And you're going to need an extra layer because we're tailgating outside because, duh, of course we are. We're Chicagoans and we brave those Lake Michigan breeze conditions. But we do it with comfy and stylish as hell layers from FOCO.com. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. One more time, that's promo code CHGO for 10% off at FOCO, FOCO.com.
For sure. You know what? I never understood why sunglasses were so damn expensive. Why? Do they cost you so much damn money? But you know what hurt me? Those people at Shady Rays. And they said, we ain't going to do that for you no more either. Because you don't have to break that bank to get them quality cool sunglasses that you know you want. Shady Rays got you covered. Because they got the premium polarized shades featuring that world-class optical clarity, that sustainable durability, and styles cater to everyone and every lifestyle. The best part about Shady Rays, they got that insane protection program, y'all, of all the eyewear, lost and broken replacements. let's say our guy Matt Peck, you see him on the screen looking incredible, mustache is on point. You see him there. Sometimes he likes to throw things. He might toss that hat. And oh no, he tosses that this one time, and them sunglasses was on that hat, and he threw them against the wall. Splow! They broke it in half. Don't matter. Shady Ray said, you lose or break your shades on day one. They told us they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. They got you covered. It's the Matt Peck Protection Program. That's what I call it. Even with the strong protection program, they still managed to make quality glasses that are absolutely amazing. And it's not just me saying that. It's over 200,000 five-star reviews, y'all. It's amazing. They stand behind their product and free returns and exchanges. You'll either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. This is an amazing deal. So here's something exclusive for y'all. Shady Rays is running that deepest deal of the season. Just use that code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. That's a buy one, get one free. What they call that, Matt?
BOGO.
You can get 2 pairs for that low $54. So redeem it only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. Because it's Shady Rays. Let's do this. Shady Rays. Oh, dang, I lost Matt. Matt done went away. Come on back, Matt. There he is right there. I was about to go in the goon of the night for you, but it's all good.
And I'm back.
Oh,
goon of the night. Give it to us.
Goon of the night. Well, since I don't have the other belt, I had to bring out this belt, Matt, for Goon of the Night. Since I don't have the other one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, baby. Since I don't have the other belt to give, because I wasn't bringing this to the office.
I was gonna say the nice one stays at home. Yeah,
this one stays with the big fella. That's where this one stays, baby. Right there with the big fella. But this is Goon of the Night, Matt. Who was your Goon of the Night, sir?
I mean, mine was obviously Dragic. Because of some of those insane passes he was making. Only dudes with goon levels of confidence make those kinds of passes. And dude, he was my behind Zach second star of the game and my goon of the night. I freaking loved every second of it. I would have given it to Drummond, but he freaking lost me when he put the ball on the floor and tried to drive from behind the 3-point line. No, Andre, no. Dragic gets my goon of the night. Although there were so many great, Javante leaping everywhere, Caruso diving everywhere, great candidates everywhere, but those freaking just insane slingshot passes Dragic was throwing around tonight, he got it for me. What about you?
Well, it was close. Fried Rice, I actually did consider Dalen Terry because he had some goon behavior while he was out there on the floor ready to fight a teammate, baby.
Those garbage minutes was ridiculous.
Hey, man, they was in college together, man. It's the league now. It's the league now. I enjoyed that. He was close. But the goon of the night, sir, for me, who gets this belt is Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso was gooned up. He had Haliburton in hell. Him and Io, listen, Clamp City they had on that young fella right there, man. That block shot he had on, is it Durant? I can't pronounce his name. Is it Durante? Am I saying it right?
Duarte.
That block he had on him in the corner, amazing stuff. Will talked about that play when he went diving on the floor for the loose ball, gets back up, still makes the play, turns it back over to the Bulls down the floor, cash money shot. That's all goon-tastic things. I love the way he played tonight. He was hyped up. He was in those passing lanes. He was on that floor with the floor burns. It was all goon to me for my man Alex Caruso, sir. So for me, you, sir, get the big gold belt for Goon of the Night.
Love it. And before we get out of here, props to Ayo Dosunmu. My goodness.
Yes.
Another strong game from this team's young starting point guard. Just a modest 12 points on a night when we mentioned that the scoring was balanced for the Bulls. He was the last one of the guys who scored in double figures to break double figures. Yeah. And that to me is what I wanted to highlight because he spent most of the night distributing. He did get to the bucket a little bit. He was 4 of 7 inside of the 3-point line, 4 of 4 at the free throw line. You love that. But on a night when turnovers became an issue for the Bulls, you know what Ayo's assist to turnover ratio was? Your young second-year point guard? Because it was 7 assists and 1 turnover. Praise be to Ayo Dosunmu. But the Bulls trying to put that final nail in the coffin, a few possessions in a row down the stretch of the fourth quarter. Where do they get those buckets? Ayo driving into the paint, getting a good look, little reverse off the glass, whatever he needs to do to finish at the rim to put that team away. Calm, cool, composed. That is your starting point guard from Chicago, Bulls fans. Huge game from Ayo.
Yeah, amazing, awesome game from Ayo, man. And it was funny because I didn't even realize he didn't hit a three. It's just in my head he had hit a three. And I realized, I was like, oh, well, he didn't. But you're right. Like, he was getting to the bucket, and he was also making awesome passes as well. He really utilizes Vooch very nicely. I love the way they have their
two-man game. They had two beautiful buckets early in the game working that two-man together.
Absolutely right, man. I love the way those guys play together. But yeah, man, Ayo is becoming stabilizing. I was saying that watching him play. Like, wow, he's really becoming like stabilizing. Like, I need a bucket or I need a play kind of stabilizing, you know? And that's really cool to get from your second year person who's his first time starting at the beginning of the season at point guard. That's amazing for Ayo to be like that at this level, man. And you just saw him again, Matt, with the encouragement from his team to his teammates. When things were going right, he's the first one. Like, come on, guys, that's what I'm talking about. You know, cheering everybody on. So yeah, man, I'm just loving his growth, and I think this is kind of what we expected also from Ayo. So I honestly, right now, it's like par for the course with what we're seeing from. It's not going to be far, Matt, when we're going to be talking about him having a 20-point, 10 assist game. Like, it's going to happen. Like, he's really getting to that kind of level.
Right. Shout out to Osis Jr. in the comments who said Ayo got his first free throw attempts of the season. Finally, the refs not swallowing their whistle on his drives. Yeah, I mean, kudos. It was only a matter of time until the refs were like, oh, well, you know, you're a young guy and you're not an all-star, so we're not going to blow our whistle when you drive. And I was like, well, I'm going to keep driving until you call these fouls because I'm freaking drawing contact. And
I got to go. Cool.
Also saying 12 points, but look at how cleanly he runs that P&R with Vooch. I mean, it was beautiful stuff between those two tonight. And then there was one other pick and roll that they ran where then Vooch just used his beautiful Vooch passing ability to just almost no look whip this beautiful pass, hit Kobe White in the pocket, in the corner for a three that Kobe knocked down. Just beautiful offensive execution that starts with an Ayo Vooch pick and roll. They're developing really nice chemistry. And speaking of Vooch, understated game from him, just a quiet 14-7-4. Starting center on a night when, everybody eats and Vooch did his part. Wags, I did see you earlier with your super chat saying that you were one Vooch point away from hitting your 4-leg parlay tonight. My condolences to you. Keep at it. Come back to it because guess what? I've been cashing money on Vooch being good at basketball through these first 5 games of the season, man. Vooch will not let you down again. I promise you.
He is right about that. And also, let me shout out Patrick Williams, man. Shout out to Patrick Williams, sir. You did again. Hey,
he survived.
Matt, he wiggled the other toe, Matt. He wiggled the other toe today. That's all he did. He wiggled that other toe. So that's 2 toes. I've seen 2 toes wiggle, man. And what I liked was just how he did it. Like, he was really sure of himself. Like, nope, I don't care what you guys are doing. I got the ball now. I'm going to the bucket. Period. And everybody was like, okay. It was like, cool, go to the bucket. Great, do that. No, I liked how he played. It was very smooth. He had his first assist of the season in this game. He had 2 assists, I think. His first assist of the year he had tonight, man. So that lets you know he's actually getting kind of comfortable in the game. But I was just happy to see again, like you said, Matt, to see that he's alive. He's got his pulse going and he's wiggling other toes now. So let's move to that other toe. And, see how I feel.
Stop. Oh, and wiggle your toe, yeah, stop.
Hey.
Oh. And 2 of his 10 points came after getting one of his 2 steals on the night where he just actually played some alive person competent defense and just broke off a pass from a side out of bounds. Like, good for him.
Not a live person competent defense.
and I did see our friend Hold That Bag Recordings in the comments earlier saying, hey, man, I promised Pat double digits. Look at that. He got 10 tonight. I believe you promised Pat double digits in their next 2 games. So you're halfway there holding that bag recording.
But I will say he's close. Hey, man, you're hitting it. I'm just saying, you're hitting it. Let's see it. This is a big one, that next one, man. We'll see if that Uncle Big Toe
10 points again against the Spurs on Friday, then maybe I'm going to talk to you about some bets that you're making.
We'll talk offline.
We'll talk offline. That's it. We are out of time. Thank you so much. There was so much to talk about in this game. We got to as much of it as we could, as many of your comments as we could. But that's what happens when you're feeling good after a Bulls win. That was a good Bulls win. Beat a team you should beat. You go to 3-2 on the year. Nice way to finish that little 3-game homestand. The Bulls go back on the road. San Antone looks like DeMar, who had a chill y'all do it night tonight, is going to break that 20,000 point marker in San Antone with his old friend Greg Popovich. That'll be special, Dave.
Yes, I can't wait for him to do that. I'm glad that it's happening this way for him. And you're right. It's been a long time since he's been here that he has said, I'll take the night off. You guys do it for me. It's been a while since he's done that. So I'm glad he got that tonight, and hopefully he can do his thing and break this record tomorrow. Was it Friday?
Friday.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, man.
Another weekend back-to-back, Friday, Saturday.
Saturday, baby.
So get y'all rest tomorrow, Bulls Nation. Gear up for another weekend back-to-back. We'll be back with a show tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you're subscribed to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel because we'll be around. Us and our guy, Will the Goat Gottlieb. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Bulls_Peck, BowBAWL Sports, Will_Gottlieb. We are CHGO_Bulls. Our beautiful and talented producer, Segway Joey, is on Twitter at Joey Spathis. Give him a follow as well. For Will and Big Dave and Joey, I'm Peck. Appreciate you, Bulls Nation. Thanks for tuning in. As always, hit that like button before you head out. Have a great night. We'll talk to you next time. See you, Red. Be good.